The first question is about the title of the report, The Man Who Screwed an Entire Country. It's quite striking as a title, but when you read the entire report, in fact, you discover that it describes pretty objectively the Italian society. So why did you choose this title, and does it have a political value in any way?
Well, I wrote the report, which is 12,000 words, and the editor of The Economist chose the 7 words that we put on the cover. And you're right, the report is mainly about Italy and Italian society. There's a little bit about Mr. Berlusconi at the end. But I think the editor chose those words, the man who screwed an entire nation, because really his take and our take on Italy is that Mr. Berlusconi has been a tremendous disappointment for Italy. And of course, he's famous in Italy and around the world really for the sex scandals, the political scandals, the trials. But if you ignore all of those things and put them to one side and just judge him on Italy's economic performance over the last decade, when he's been in power for much of the time, his record is very, very bad. And so that's really where the headline came from. He promised to do a great deal for Italy, and he's failed to deliver. And actually, Italy has gone backwards during the time he's been Prime Minister, hence the man who screwed Italy.
Okay, what kind of reaction did you get after the publication, and did you expect that kind of reaction?
Well, we thought there would be some reaction, and there has been lots of reaction. I think it's generated some interest in Italy, which is great. Obviously, the Economist likes being part of the debate about how Italy is and the future of Italy. I had a lot of emails from people I've never met in Italy, some of them very rude. I received one on Tuesday night telling me that I was an idiot, a donkey, and an alcoholic, which amused me somewhat. But actually I had more emails that have been very supportive from people saying that they agree with the analysis and rather looking forward to a time post-Berlusconi in Italy when the country can have some different policies and hopefully get onto the right track.
Okay, now since we're going to speak to an Italian audience with this interview, I would like to know how you got to your interest for Italy. How did the project start, and how much do you know Italy? Have you been here? Do you speak Italian?
I understand Italian. I've been to Italy a lot of times. Like a lot of British people, I grew up going on family holidays to Italy, and like most people outside Italy, I have a great love for the country and a great fondness for it. The opportunity to write this special report came up a few months ago, and I jumped at the chance, not because I'm an Italy specialist, I'm not, but mainly because I think the country is so interesting, and because I think it's such an interesting moment for Italy right now. I spent about a month in Italy researching and writing for this project, and I've travelled around, spoke to an awful lot of people. And while I think what The Economist has said this week has been controversial in Italy, it's really, the content is all derived from interviews with Italian experts in the various subjects that I'm writing about. So it's not, to some degree it's a foreigner's view of Italy, but it's a foreigner's view of Italy informed by conversations with very, very, very many Italians.
Who are the most important people you talk to, the most determinant people that for this paper?
I had an interesting interview with the Education Minister, Maria Gelmini. It wasn't that easy for me to speak to government ministers in Rome. I think that's because The Economist has a rather strained, let's say, relationship with Mr. Berlusconi after he tried to sue us unsuccessfully for saying that he was unfit to be Prime Minister of Italy. I think he wasn't particularly keen for members of his government to speak to the Economist, but nevertheless I spoke to Minister Giannini and was grateful for that. And I think some of the reforms that she's trying to push are impressive. I had an interesting chat with a lot of academics at Bocconi in Milan, including Mario Monti, who I spent several hours with him. He was very interesting. I had a very interesting talk with Sergio Macchione at Fiat. I mean, lots of, I must have done sort of 40 interviews for this. So